These Palace fans in the last 10 minutes, I said it to the chaps here, were so nervous they couldn't cheer. That's completely understandable. Anybody watching this who loves football and supports a team knows that when your team is so close, you just lose your voice through absolute terror. Now they found their voice in. And actually, he's right, Eberechi, isn't it? Tactics is fine. That was sheer heart in the second half. Yes. We will not concede a goal.
Absolutely. And the Palace fans from the start have been magnificent. We're just Palace fans here who've been there since 1990. They've been through those minutes and where it's so close, and now for them to get to this point and win this trophy, especially when there have been some poor decisions from the referee's point of view, absolutely City should be disappointed about that. But I think overall I feel Palace just deserve that, and I'll give it to them.
Look,
on
that's
their
Crystal Palace royalty, isn't it? Roy Hodgson and Gareth Southgate will have enjoyed it very much, as well as your old teammate Mark Pougatch will up there as well. From Manchester City's point of view, does this signal the necessary regeneration of City this summer?
Yeah and no. I think that was coming anyway. Listen, it's a disappointing season. The standards they've set over the last 10, 14 years has been...
Steve Coppell enjoying himself.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. And it will be unfamiliar for a lot of these players not to win a trophy, but listen, you have no divine right to win a trophy at the start of the season. And yeah, you've got to give all credit to Crystal Palace. You conceded one goal in the whole competition. That is unique.
And this is not about Man City. Today is not about Man City. Man City have had loads of credit over the last few years. Fantastic club, fantastic team in terms of the success they've had. But this is Crystal Palace's day. We talk about having a plan. Every team's got a plan. You've got to go out and do the business. You've got to play with spirit, fight, quality, a little bit of luck.
Belief in each other, trust in each other.
Again, they've had all that today and more. And when you're interviewing the players after the game there, they don't know what to say. That's the emotion. Maybe you should give them a half an hour to just bring it all in. But also it's great to see how raw it is. A lot of tears there from players and the fans. Young kids there probably thinking, is this the norm with Crystal Palace?
That'll happen every time.
But I'm pretty sure it won't be another 100 years before they win a trophy.
Eberechi has scored the opening goal in the quarter-final, the semi-final, the final. I mean, it was mainly a defensive game out of necessity today. But the one chance they had, he took so well, and it's just added to his reputation.
Well, that's what you've got to do when you're playing against the City. Whatever we say, that City side were more than good enough. Like I said, they had their opportunities, but you need someone like Eze to score in this game. And he's turned up in all those games you've mentioned, the big games, and he's done it again today.
So he's born in Greenwich. We talked about South London. That's South London. Released by Arsenal at 13, said he cried in his room for a week. Released by three or four different London academies, plus Reading. But never stopped believing in what he could do.
I think he'll be released again.
You can look at the way Eberechi as he is, and he's got a style and a way about him that when he was younger, you could probably see where coaches and people will look at him and like think, well, I'm not sure about it, I don't like the way that happens. That has obviously happened with him. And you know what? In the end, obviously QPR, he got his chance at QPR, got himself moved to Palace, and now, you know, we're seeing a wonderful player that is beautiful to watch. But leave it to those people. He wouldn't be in the game if he doesn't keep going. You lose players like that. You lose players like that because his natural effervescence is cool, it's calm, it's languid, it's beautiful.
But it's a lesson. So rejection is part of the game.
Absolutely.
If you can't deal with rejection, don't play football. You know, you're going to have setbacks, and people might fancy it.
There's not one nice linear ascent to the top.
If only. If only it was as simple as that. There'd be a lot of people out there playing professional football.
You wouldn't enjoy it as much as well. You wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Oliver Glasner, I read the other day, growing up very close to the German border in Austria. The usual question I ask, did you grow up watching the FA Cup final? He said in his interview, we didn't have British television. So the answer is no. We had 3 German channels, 2 Austrian channels, so no. Now here he's come and taken the FA Cup by storm. And he'll go back to his apartment, he says, which the Thames runs outside it. Tomorrow morning, have a nice cup of coffee.
He looks calm there, doesn't he?
Oh, he's still calm.
All in, yeah, he's cool. And
Steve Parish won't be. Palace almost went bust in 2010 when he took over.
He's the owner that they needed, and he's obviously taken them where they should be at the moment.
Our editor is so jubilant because he's a Palace fan. He's just pointed out the last South London team to win the Cup was Wimbledon, and their goalkeeper saved the penalty as well. There you go. Against John Woodbridge, 1988. You need the goalkeeper. You need a little bit of luck. Do you think on the balance of play, let's try and ignore the Henderson red card for now, for a moment, because of course editorially we'll come back to it. Over the piece, did they deserve to win, Palace?
I think so. From a defensive point of view, I think Man City, with everything that they tried to throw, with Doku, with Haaland, with the chances, with the penalty, I thought the Palace defended brilliantly. They've defended brilliantly. They made great blocks, and the goalkeeper made a great save.
got the war wounds with it. Looks like he's been in a boxing match. That's why he came off. Got a right clout under his eye. But Joleon, that's what you have to do as a centre-back. You have to put your body on the line.
Yeah, leading by example.
They did that.
Yeah, definitely, and they knew it was going to be tough. They knew they were going to have to rely on their defensive side of their game. And Roy said before the game that if they were going to have success, Henderson was probably going to be man of the match, and he was arguably that as well. So you can take nothing away from them, and this will be memorable for the rest of their careers.
You've got all three of you have got pictures like this in your... Well, most people have them in the downstairs loo. Let's be honest, that's what we do in Britain and Ireland. But somewhere at home, you've got these great photos.
100%, yeah. I was lucky enough to go on and win all the things, but this cup, especially from a young Joleon Lescott, remember what this was like to watch this competition, to go on and to win it is huge for these players.
Do you know, I hope they don't celebrate too much. They've got a game on Tuesday, don't they?
Shut up.
They've got to celebrate. They've got to go for it. You know, it's brilliant.
I hope they celebrate
until Tuesday. Yeah.
I hope they celebrate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then the season's over.
Yeah, you always have to remind players, obviously, enjoy it, have a great time, these moments.
Yeah, but remember, this game used to be the last game of the season when it was brilliant, and you couldn't just, enjoy yourself, go for it.
Joel Ward is in there, club captain. He's leaving at the end of the season. He played in the 2016 final. He's been here since 2012. He was on the bench. I mean, what a way to go out.
Yeah.
Always, as my grandfather used to say, always leave a party when you're enjoying it most.
Well, the
what
thing
a way to go
with
out.
he's been a great servant. He's been a great servant to the club, and I'm really pleased. And I know it shows a bit of class with Palace to make sure that he gets in on the lifting of that cup. The first cup that Palace have won in their history. And he's part of that, and he deserves to be part of that with his service, what he's given Palace.
There he is, Joel Ward there. Brilliant.
They look like
what
a good
moment.
group, don't they? There's good dynamics between them, energy. Obviously, it's great when you win. But over the course of a season, we think they had a difficult start. They've showed great character and quality to come back and win a trophy.
Right,
There's
Steve Coppell on the left, punch in the air. Alan Smith next to him, Ian's manager in 1990. What do you think? What is he thinking? Go on, try and...
Well, now that he can see these scenes, he could have seen what it'd been like, because we made some noise here in 1990 as well, the Palace fans. And what it made you realise is that if you could have given them that, I'm just pleased that I'm able to be here, probably my last ever FA Cup, and Palace are the ones that have won it. You know what I mean? It's just a dream. It's like a dream.
They've done it for you, Ian.
Oh, by the way, it means Europa League football for Palace Thursday night at Selhurst Park. Fantastic.
Progression.
It means, of course, it means Eze, the manager, Glasner, Gehi.
And more work for Ian. More TV work, surely. There's got to be a deal out there for him somewhere.
I think he'll be okay, don't you? I think he'll be okay. Listen, football is a pyramid of beasts in the jungle, and Palace are not at the top. They're going to be fighting off some bigger beasts, aren't they, for the manager, for some players?
Oh, there's challenges to come now when you get a bit of success. The manager, I'm sure there'll be clubs looking at him, some of the top players, people to be after him. But they're nice problems to have. That means you're making progress as a football club, that people want the people you're working with. It's a great start. High-class problems.
High-class problems.
You know what, obviously, with, like you say, Europe, and the manager seems to have got a really good bunch together. If he could put some more players to that to see what they can achieve. Can they get into the top six? Can they really start challenging for these kind of European places? Not just because nearly half the leagues in Europe, but the fact that they are good enough to continue to progress to get into those areas of the league.
Yeah, definitely think recruitment becomes easier when you're in Europe, but also it becomes harder to maintain the squad that you have, because the likes of Eze, Mark Gehi, Adam Wharton are going to be prizes for clubs. So, yeah, it's a tough summer for Palace, both recruiting and keeping.
Yeah, and you know, they've got a lot of good players. They have got a lot of talented players. They've got good characters. There's a bit of spirit, a bit of fight, obviously, in the club, and they're getting their rewards.
Yes.